It's in progress. I'm recording the progress of this.
If you don't respect our Patreons, that's fine.
Well, I haven't heard anyone in Patreon that's particularly pissed off by people eating on mic. Mark, how do you feel about people eating on mic?
I don't care if it's you guys. It's like if I'm listening to a podcast and it's already someone I kind of don't like or am annoyed with, then I would be bothered. Like there's a podcast I listened to where one of the hosts has started laughing like this,
Hmm.
like that, and that drives me insane. And I'm like
I wonder if
struggling to
that's
not
noise
stop.
cancellation of some kind.
No, it's definitely a tick. And
Like,
it's like I am like getting to the point where I'm like just struggling not to stop listening because of it.
hmm. Like
Are you
Zoom.
guys familiar with the British comedian Jimmy Carr?
I
I
think I've heard
think.
the name.
He's whatever, but
Okay.
he had a somewhat embarrassing laugh.
Hmm.
So he trained himself to have like a ridiculous comedy laugh instead. And
Huh.
now he laughs like like this.
There are a couple of podcasts I listen to where they are clearly doing a ha 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 ha. You know
Haha,
that?
you are funny.
No, it's like they have trained themselves to do like a regimented laugh
Ha ha
clearly,
ha
and
ha
it's
ha
like
ha.
very creepy
I get what
to
you're
me.
saying. Ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha.
Because sometimes the noise cancellation on Zoom does weird stuff too, like the All That Jazz episode I listened to, and I think near the end I'm pretty sure I'm singing "There's No Business Like Show Business," but it just comes out completely different sounding.
That's why I use
Uh,
local recordings only.
I know, but it's fascinating. I'm pretty sure I didn't hum that tune, you know? So
I listened to it and it didn't sound weird to me at all.
no, it didn't sound weird. I'm just like I it sounds like I'm singing some random memory melody, like something came in and like was copyright concerned or something. I don't know. Or
Mm.
maybe I was just tunelessly humming. I mean, that could be the case too.
Maybe Transistor has turned on us and they're censoring you.
Mm. They did lower the bit rate without asking, but that's fine. I can live with
Fuck
that.
them.
Fuck
Anyway, I
them.
hope they're listening.
Transistor listens to everything.
I mean,
I
they
hear
could probably
everything.
because I'm going to say because on like Apple Podcasts it transcribes shit without you asking. Like I've
Mm.
just stumbled onto the transcription. Pretty much anything we say is going to be searchable. So, not that I give a shit. I mean,
Except that it
I
mistranscripts
demand a higher
it
bit rate, you fucks.
mistranscribes everything. Yeah.
I mean, I've generally it seems to have been accurate from what I've seen, but I don't know.
I haven't
I
looked for
haven't
a year,
gone
so maybe
granular.
maybe it's more accurate now.
Like that time when I said like Luke, you said my name at the end of a game show and you didn't remember why. Like I looked at the transcription, it definitely said Mark. Like I was like, okay, I'm not imagining it, but um,
Well,
fuck.
hopefully you'll print out the transcripts and you'll be over there like, I got the transcripts. See, and you're like throwing them around the room, screaming at us about things we said.
Yeah, maybe if they lower the bit rate without us asking, then things won't be transcribed as accurately.
Hmm.
But you know,
I mean, I
Blarglobots.
believe you, but I still don't know why I said your name.
I did, yeah, I think it was just that you were making a joke that was related to a podcast that we recorded back then, but because game shows take a while to come out, it was like a month later or something, where it was like the fear.com, it was like a fear.com joke or something, I think. I
Mm.
don't even remember
Those
now.
never get old. Those
No, I mean,
fear.com
yeah,
jokes.
fear.com.com jokes. Oh,
Yugo.com and all
man.
the way down to hell.
Yep. I mean, technically, I don't know. I wonder how far it goes. Like, have you ever just tried to go like type a 100times.com and see what comes up?
No. No, that never
Dot
occurred to me.
com dot. I just tried
Did you go on meatspin.com?
meat spin.
Yeah,
That sounds familiar.
go on it right
Maybe
now.
it should.
You can look up
Okay.
what the longest web address is, which is probably something horrible.
I'm like going to this website knowing full well that it might just be like some lemon party shit.
Hmm. Did
If
you go
you're
to the
under
party?
18, leave now.
Well, that's not you. You're good to go.
Oh, damn! It's like a shortcuts to all the good stuff. Where it
Wait,
says
what's this?
one meatspin.com.
Oh, that's not what it used to be.
What it used to
One
be.
guy, two bulbs, two
It
girls,
was
one
just it was
cup,
just a
one man,
guy's
one
dick
jar.
spinning around doing that little bit while it played.
Oh
You
no, it
spin
is.
me right round, baby, right round.
Oh, okay. It had a thing where I had to click to unmute it, and now it is. And it also says you are officially gay, smiley face emoji. But it also has links to all the other stuff where it says three
Mm.
girls, one funnel, one priest, one nun, two guys, one stump.
Mm.
I'm not even making
It's
that
all
up.
it's all the
That's all
numbers
real.
game. It's all numbers games.
This is basically, like efucked.com, but just directly straight to the worst stuff.
Going
Right.
straight for the
Yeah.
bottom. Yeah.
I knew I'd seen Meat Spin, just it's been so long that I forgot what it was. So it did the job.
Mm. It made you gay.
Yep, that's what I needed.
I had
I'm
some
nearly
trouble.
done.
Okay. I did have to yeah, writing the plot for this was a little bit wonky. It's kind of hard to work out the plot when you get down to it. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
writing it out in sentences.
well, there's so much happens. That's
Mm.
the main reason. The primary reason why this is one of my favorite movies is because it just keeps giving and giving and giving and giving. Hmm. Man, Luke, over the weekend I crossed the threshold from regular Monster Hunter player to obsessive, and now I'm like fucking pissed
Obsessed.
that I can't play it right now. Yeah, just based on Rise. So like, I don't know.
Ah.
Great timing, but like, fuck God.
Fuck God.
Fuck God. Yep. And now I'm gay.
On meatsman.com, yes.
I played 24 hours and 55 minutes of Wild.
Wait, direct straight in a row?
No, but it's only been out since Friday, so almost
Did you see it sold like 8 million copies?
in the first day. Yeah.
It's insane. Like, yeah, dude. But yeah, I ran the benchmark, so I'm gonna be out there with you guys at some soon date when
Fully crossplay as well.
yeah. And
But it's like you got to play through basically the whole campaign in single player before you can do multiplayer.
I mean, generally I would do that anyway because I don't want to embarrass myself showing up with just bullshit gear. But yeah, man, fuck.
Nah,
It
that's not what the
just
Monster Hunter vibe, man.
yeah, well, yeah, I guess you're right. But Switch Axe.
Oh,
Turns
that's what
out
I'm
I'm a
on.
Switch Axe. Yeah. It took me a minute, but
I use a
like
different thing every game, but that's what I'm using on this one.
yeah, when I switched to Charge Blade, I was like, "Oh shit, okay, this was really working for me when I did Charge Blade." But then I went to Switch Axe and was like, "Yeah, man, good shit." Also, there were just things that I didn't realize I could do. Like, I didn't realize I could like you do wire bug moves with the weapon. It's you
Mhm.
know. But I went back and listened to a bunch of Monster Mash, and you guys are basically saying the exact same thing, where it's like it just took you really. I guess it takes everybody a really long time to figure it out.
Mm.
So yeah,
My Monster Hunter is still basically the movie. I know the movie.
well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I can recommend to you, Matt, that something where you need like 15 hours to immerse yourself in it.
I don't have 15 hours for that.
Just play what's a game you don't have to have 15 hours? Play like Hole Down
Mm.
or something. Hole Down is just you shoot balls into a hole.
No, okay.
Play Balatro, it'll ruin your life.
I mean, yeah, you should play Balatro. Just go ahead and
That should be the tagline. It will ruin your life.
end it now. I've come really close to buying Balatro like 5 or 10 times and just like nope, 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 can't do it.
I still love the movie. I know I brought it up before, but the movie Crazy People, where it's supposed to be truth in advertising, and for the movie, the monster is the name of the movie. Just it will fuck
Yep.
you up is the tagline.
I mean that you know. They almost could do that with Monster Hunter, I think.
They do that with a monkey, right? The movie came out recently.
Yeah.
It will fuck you up.
Yeah, no, Crazy People was definitely ahead of its time. Like that was I bet you could watch if somebody watched that for the first time now and knew how old it was, they'd probably be like, I can't believe that they
I mean, honestly, it's not a great movie, but yeah, it's got a few things
the
like
ads
that.
yeah,
The
it's one
ads
of
are
those where
great.
the ads are the great part, the rest of it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah,
Dudley Moore, not I don't know,
not his
man.
best.
Not I just don't think Dudley Moore is like one of those things where he ended up a star, but I don't feel like I've ever seen a movie where I'm like Dudley
I
Moore
get
is
it.
really carrying this movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Convincing drunk.
In at number 61, three middle-aged boys talk about Oldboy.
How old is he in here? I never actually checked that because you have to
He's
do
about
math for
your
that.
age, Matt.
That's
He
what I
was in
thought.
there for 15 years, so
Yeah, who knows
Yeah.
how that ages you, you know?
Yeah, basically when this came out, he was about my age, and then wait, no.
Yeah, he's now 63, so he was like 41 when he did this, yeah. So a little younger, but I don't know, staying in a hotel for room for 15 years, does that make you look younger or older? I mean, he mentions sunlight vitamin deficiencies at some point, you know?
hmm.
I definitely, see this now. This is the first time I've watched it since the pandemic, and I'm like, yeah, pandemic kind of did this to me.
Pale boy.
I mean, not all of it, but
Go
Anyway,
pale boy.
so we all know that I love this movie and have watched it like 20 times, and you guys have seen it for your first time. Did you watch it a second time this week?
I
Not the
didn't have
whole
time for that.
movie. I bet you know what scene I rewatched.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
I'd seen that scene like a lot, you know, so
I'd
you know.
heard about it and seen it in like seen it in this and that.
I'm
Like
pretty
seen it referenced and duplicated, but this is my first time actually seeing it.
I think Mark just made me watch a like pre-YouTube clip, just like I'm putting in the disc and you're watching the scene. Like, but we
Hmm.
didn't watch the movie because we didn't have time for that or something.
YouTube, I think, existed right when this came out.
Okay, maybe you did YouTube it on me. But yeah, I do remember you just showing me that one scene, of
No,
course.
isn't YouTube like 2007?
Definitely
No, then maybe
exists
that's
in
just when I posted on
2006.
2007.
It definitely existed in 2006.
Okay. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
I
right, because I was
just know,
posting stuff on YouTube when I was still in junior high school.
yeah.
But I mean, it could have been on E-Bombs World or something.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
2005. So yeah, pretty close.
What is this? It's Films and Filth. And today's movie, Oldboy. Hi, it's Matt here.
It's Mark.
Tis Luke.
Tis him. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those like always near the front of the list to watch, and you just never quite get around to it, you know, and unless you have a podcast to do on it. So that worked out nicely.
Well, see,
Um,
I had a weird history with this film because 2003 we're in the height of like Saw and horribly gory films. Well, not 2003, but in the couple of years after when it would have made its way to Gen Pop in the UK. And like in my head I had it as like, oh, it's just one of those like real nasty films. I don't want to watch that. And then years later people start bringing up that amazing hallway fight scene. And so in my head I was like, what is this film? Is it like a grim thriller or is it a cool action film? Turns out it's a grim thriller that just briefly becomes a cool action film for one scene, which is very bizarre.
as a very like greedy and complicated person, like I love this movie more than a lot of other movies because it is so many things.
Yeah, you
It's
said the same when we talked about like Bollywood films.
Yeah, it's got this like kind of occasional very like pensive beautiful stuff where
Hmm.
repeats this like it's almost poetry sometimes.
It's
Sometimes it is the
poetry, it
most
rhymes.
yeah, sometimes it's the most disgusting thing ever and sometimes it's a weird cool I look at this like the action scenes are kind of like Star Wars because there's no explanation for him being able to fight except for the Force.
Well,
He's been
he learned to
practicing.
fight in the hotel room.
I mean, yeah, that is an
He karate kidded
explanation.
himself.
But I mean, there's also I don't know. I look at it as it's that and also the Force.
That's in my
I'm
plot
putting
summary. Don't screw it up now.
I'm putting a picture in the chat. We've talked about Memories of Murder about a
Hmm.
year and a half ago during our strike period. There's a picture right here with the star of this film visiting the set of Memories of Murder. So it's like both of those iconic guys and with their iconic looks just hanging out.
That's awesome.
It's really, really cool. But
So
you
I guess
should,
that's a bright spot in Korean film then. Okay.
yeah, imagine
I mean,
it's sort of like
not that they're having trouble these days or anything, but well, they
I was
are
trying
having
to
trouble
think
with their
of
It's not
actors.
film that they're famous for at the moment, right? It's TV shows and music.
Well, I mean, at least in Japan, I mean, everyone's watching Korean dramas all the time and stuff.
That's
So
what I
I
mean.
mean
Yeah, so it's television more than film.
yeah,
Parasite
well,
won two
I was about to say,
Oscars.
I was say the
And
Oscars had Parasite and
Hmm.
and contemporary I think I haven't stared at the list recently, but I think this and Parasite are like the highest contemporary foreign films on there, which is wild because this especially is pretty messed up. Like this is pretty intense for like an acclaimed film.
Well, I think I mean we're getting into this conversation earlier than we usually do, but for the
Mhm.
old why is it on the good list? It might just be down to it's like only a certain type of person has watched this. People who are gonna rate this low probably didn't check it out.
I think a
It
lot
is
of
that
film
little bit more
folks got
obscure.
to it though. It got
Yeah,
it
and
was
then
definitely
like
put under
they have to say they like it because it's a cool foreign film.
I think
They're not
this
going to
is
admit they don't get it.
I honestly think that this is basically it's a better Fight Club than Fight Club is. It's a better Memento than Memento is. It's one of the best Batman movie, possibly the best Batman movie, if you call it a Batman movie.
It
Mhm.
I
would
know
be
there's
that
like
one where
You're
Batman
going a
was
bit much now.
no, it's
some
going to be
things
that
are
Batman movie
different.
where Batman was homeless and Alfred was
Batman's
like
not
a car
about
I
mechanic.
know
revenge. That's the point.
it's
So
a better Batman
Aronofsky wanted
movie.
to do it, which
It's better
sometimes
than Tim
watching this
Burton's Batman, sure,
yeah,
but that's because they're bad films.
sometimes
This,
watching this you do you start thinking of Requiem for a Dream though, don't you? I
I
mean,
did
it
think
does
of it.
have
I thought
yeah,
this
it's better than that.
achieved what Requiem for a Dream failed to do because it has a slight sense of humor about how insane it is.
That's the whole thing is that yeah, it does the twist thing so much better because it's willing to go like to the most horrible place for the twist and make it kind of funny even as you're watching like the most horrible thing
Yeah.
imaginable. We're gonna spoil like spoilers from here on out. Like we can't not talk about it really if
I mean,
you haven't
it
seen the
did
film.
feel a little bit like, the South Park Cartman thing with I made you eat your
Yeah.
parents. I made you, so it's
Uh-huh.
kind of that style thing, which when was
Exactly.
that South Park episode? About
That
this
South
time.
Park might have been slightly in response to this, yeah.
Yeah,
No, that was before this, I think. I think it
No
was
way.
I think it was about the
was
same,
it?
but yeah. Um,
Well, I'll look
it
that up
would be
while
an
you do your
oblique
segment.
reference if it is, but I mean, they might have seen it just got in their mind or something, you know? Although that's
I
not the
mean,
spoiler here. There's no
this
parent
I'm gonna say even though the
stake, parent
even
stake.
though this is an intense twist. No, that was 2001, dude.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
So
So
this
this
film
movie
actually
was
Um,
in
ripped off
response
South
to
Park.
that.
South Park actually is more like The Simpsons than you like a lot. There are a lot of South Park episodes that are memorable that just came the first 5 years. It doesn't
Also,
necessarily seem like it because they're still hitting sometimes, but
The Simpsons, you have to get to season 3 before they become like reasonably watchable. Where South Park's pretty good out of the gate, if I remember correctly.
from what I remember, the first season was the best out of the first like 6 seasons. Um, but yeah, but the thing is that technically that twist and this twist are both like I don't want to say obvious, but you would have to be a crazy person to think of these twists. They're like pretty straightforward for being messed up.
But you'd have to be crazy to put in your movie.
I mean, well, it's based on a manga, so
Yep.
we'll get into the Spike Lee one because Spike Lee actually his Oldboy sucks, but it does one up the twist.
Okay.
It also adds in a lot of more fight scenes, as what it seemed like when I looked on
Have you
their
seen it?
internet. No, but I was looking
Oh.
to see. I wanted to rewatch the fight scene from this, and then it was giving me loads of fight scenes from the other Old Boy.
I mean, you can also watch Thanos fuck the Scarlet Witch.
I mean, I can do that anytime if I go on Fortnite porn.
I guess I will go ahead and spoil the entire movie and read the plot, which did take a little bit of brain boppling to write. So,
All right.
After a bit of public drunkenness, Odesu is imprisoned in a hotel room. He spends the next 15 years watching TV, practicing martial arts, and going crazy. He is suddenly released, watches a guy jump off of a rooftop, heads to a sushi bar, eats a live octopus, and passes out. Sushi chef Mido takes him in. He tries to take advantage of her, and for some reason they connect anyway. Desu tries every dumpling restaurant in town until he recognizes his prison food, and this leads him to the warden, Mr. Park. Desu does some unnecessary dentistry on Mr. Park and then fights through a few waves of his goons. He then hears from his captor, Evergreen. If Daisu can discover his motive within 5 days, he will remotely deactivate a pacemaker he carries. If not, Mido will die. Daisu finds out that his captor was Wu Jin. Back in high school, Daisu saw him commit incest with his sister, blabbed about it, and the sister committed suicide. Thus, the revenge trip is that Wu Jin has schemed so that Daisu ends up hooking up with his own daughter, who is Mido. Daisu responds by chopping out his own tongue. Mission complete, Wu Sin blows his own brains out, and Daisu goes to a hypnotist to lose all knowledge of who Mido really is.
You forgot to mention that same hypnotist brainwashed him into having sex with his daughter in the first place.
Oh, right. Okay, good point.
Yeah.
Like
That's a
halfway
whole
through
thing.
this, while I was reading, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I was like, "This doesn't make sense." Like
Sense.
my plot summary, I got like really self conscious that what I'm reading at the moment makes no sense. Like so, but that is the plot of the movie, I
Yeah, well,
guess.
because the plot, it's one of those films where the film is discovering the plot, right? So,
Right, because
Yep.
it was when I was reading the line about the pacemaker. I'm like, where the hell did the pacemaker come from anyway? Now I have to explain that, don't I?
Well, the great thing about things like that, this movie gives so much, is that I forgot about the pacemaker. You know, there are like two or three things in this movie. Totally forgot about the thing where he gassed them and then like lied in bed with them after they had sex with a gas mask on, while the bodyguard stood next to them with the gas mask on. Like, just wonderful.
Yeah, I
I
didn't think I
love
had to
this
put
movie.
that in my plot summary though.
we get kind of a fight with the bodyguard at the end.
Yeah, we did. It's an intense
But
fight. It's
yeah, but
amazing. And then
it's like it's just all the table slams.
he just gets shot in the head
Yeah.
because he's deaf and can't hear. A dude yelling at him, a Woojin, Lee Woojin. Um,
It's kind of like his fighting skills just comically are plot driven. Like when the plot needs him to be able to be like a ninja, he's a ninja, and when it
yeah.
requires him to get his ass kicked, he gets his ass kicked.
Well, it's like part of that's woven directly into the film is that you can become an unholy badass, and life will still like basically humble you and destroy you.
Mm.
Like
You
it
you
is.
like morals like that, yes.
Yeah, I do. I think it's compelling. Like the fact that they weave in like utter badassery and also just in the hallway fight itself. Like there's a whole thing where
Yeah,
sometimes
I
those guys are
think
just like, God.
I think the main legacy of this film is the way in that fight scene that everyone is getting tired. And
Yeah.
I feel like that didn't happen in action scenes until this film, and now it happens in every action scene. Like
Yeah, I
seeing the
mean,
characters get fatigued in real time by doing the fight. Because even
well,
like The Matrix a couple of years before this, it took a lot of Asian cinema to like up the way the combat looked. But like they could just keep doing moves indefinitely. I mean, they're in The Matrix or whatever, blah blah blah.
yeah.
But
That
then yeah, you
explained
watch
everything.
action films after this and they see them like they have to catch their breath. Like John Wick does that really well. Like
Yeah,
with
I think
characters, he has to John Wick looks like he's having a terrible time no matter how much of a badass he's being.
I think They Live is kind of maybe I don't know if They Live isn't the genesis of it, but there's definitely some of that DNA in here.
Well, yeah, they take a
Um,
little break
They
in that
live, they
fight.
fucking wrestle each other for 15 fucking minutes. But
yeah,
then
but they're
again, no,
always
that's a
pissed
point
and tired.
because wrestling has always done that.
Yeah.
Because you have to, right? When you're, and
Hmm.
perhaps here as well, it's not born out of necessarily an artistic vision. It's because they did a single take. The actors need to take a breather. And that's why wrestlers do it, because when you're fighting on stage in front of a crowd, you can't just go back to your trailer and then shoot the next scene.
Yeah, I've recommended this movie before on this podcast, but an Indian movie called Kill from last year,
Mm.
where like this guy is an unbelievable killer and he's just murdering all these guys on a train who are hijackers. And so much of it is like the hijackers just going into a train car and seeing like they're all related or something. So they'll be like,
Mm.
"Oh no, my uncle, no, oh no!" Like they're all just really sad and upset just the entire time. And that's stuff's great, man. Like sure, Matrix. I love the Matrix. I might love the Matrix even more than Oldboy, but you know, it's a different thing. They're doing a different thing. This is different.
Yeah, because
Um,
isn't Watchmen where they basically kind of recreated the money shot from here, but in the Watchmen, and
yeah.
he is just kicking ass.
Yeah, and also in Watchmen, it's like goes into slow motion every like 3 out of every 5 seconds are in slow mo
Yeah,
because
I
it's a
guess
Zack
you're
Yeah,
Snyder film.
knitting it all together with CG and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, the thing about
The one I
Watchmen is
remember
that
hearing a lot of Old Boy chat was when Daredevil did a hallway fight scene.
yes, and
And it
which
is
is
a banger.
pretty good. Yeah, it's good. And that was that's why they're Marvel's bringing it back because
Yeah.
they realized that oh, they had something really good and they just like let Netflix let the license run out or whatever nonsense fuckery business
Well, it's just
stuff
Disney Plus
happens.
existed, so they were like, well,
Yeah,
we want to do
that.
Disney shit now.
Great job, Disney. You've been doing so well. We'll see how this one turns out. I don't know. Hopefully good, but
Well, apparently
um,
they made it shit, and then like
they remade
The
all of
people
it.
from Daredevil were like, no, and made them go back and put in good action and dark scenes.
I don't even know if it was that simple or if it was like they ran it for test audiences and people were like, "What is this?" But you know, things have sometimes things are fixed. We'll see. Sometimes they're not.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like a film you can really test audience much with.
Yeah, it's
Show it in
yeah,
Nebraska, see what the responses are.
I'm trying not to be annoying about this film because I'm like so weirdly obsessed with it, but like yes, I it's such a weird unicorn of it. Even as part of a trilogy. I'm assuming neither of you guys have seen the other two movies in the trilogy.
No,
No.
The Vengeance. It's like a loose trilogy. It's like the
yeah, like a
Cornetto
spirit. It's like the
trilogy.
Cornetto trilogy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it even same actors or just same
No.
director?
There's like one the guy I think the guy who falls off the building is in Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance,
Okay.
but he's
Okay.
like just barely in it. Like he just has a cameo, so you could loosely connect those. But Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance is like a very serious and it leans much more heavy into the like navel gazy. There's lots of like nature shots and stuff like that. But it's also the story is way sadder than this. Like it
Mm.
is just tragedy all the way down. Lady Vengeance is more like Odesu crazy. Like Lady Vengeance herself is just nuts and it's more comedic and I like it. I like it better than Mr. Vengeance is technically a better film, but I like the second and third better
Mm.
personally.
This one stood out to me as definitely being a wallpaper movie. Maybe it'd be like a liminal space movie, I guess is what that gets to, right? If you're, that sort of thing. But yeah, just there's. Did anyone else like pick up? There's a lot of wallpaper thought in this movie.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of wallpaper. I mean, a lot of it is like what would you have in a prison building?
Well,
There
yeah,
of
a
course there'd be
very
a lot of
specific
wallpaper.
liminal space is a huge part of the film, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. Good point.
Well, and also, you know, they keep hammering that he's in a
Your teeth
prison
out.
that's on the outside. Well, he says it a few times. He's like, I'm not doing well in this prison, the outside of the prison, which I mean, yeah, that is
Life
life.
is a prison, man.
I mean, I'm pretty sure South Korea is like pretty difficult place to live. Like I'm not saying that I don't want to sound like I don't know. I've seen people who live in South Korea complaining a lot about it specifically. So it sounds like kind of a, you know, different rat race than this one. I mean,
Yeah, but
at least they
it's
can
not like living in.
at least they get rid of their like presidents when they need to. Like I can say that. Like hell yeah, South Korea for doing that, but you know, um I think it's
I
yeah.
mean, I think probably Luke too, but I very much made the choice to choose Japan. I guess it seemed cooler 20 years ago. I guess Korea's cooler now, right? But
Hmm.
I mean it depends,
Well,
man.
I
I
have
think
very specific interests, which brought me to Japan.
yeah. Well, also,
Yeah.
Mark, as you know, my hometown is has tons of Korean stuff. So it's like, why do I need to go to Korea? I already have it around my house. So I'll go to Japan instead.
Well, I regret to inform you that there's a lot of Japanese stuff here now.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 specifically Japanese bookstores. There's like a Tesso Life here.
Okay.
There's just, which I don't know if you're familiar with. I don't think that's in Japan, right? I think that started in New York, but it's just like half of it is gachapon machines. There's all kinds of stuff there. But yeah, and we had 2 round 1s at one point.
Well, okay.
I think you told me about the round ones before.
Yeah, we have one still, but we also have like a couple of other arcades with a bunch of Japanese games. Like there's 2 different places where I can play a table flipping game.
Nice.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen the table flipping game for a while. I haven't been to many
yeah.
Have you been, I
arcades
was gonna say,
either,
have you been
so.
to an arcade
It's
for a while?
the table flipping game does get old because there's just like the 3 scenarios and it's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's
much
why
to
it's
it.
great in an arcade and not. I wouldn't buy it for my home
Yeah,
console.
exactly. It's
You have to get all the accoutrements too.
to play
Thinking
with
our
your
controller would
friends.
be whack.
I mean, I don't know. If they did a bunch of DLC, I'd buy a table for it.
They could have
But
made it work with Let's Tap on the Wii. It's the
if
one
they
that
did a
came with like
rhythm
a
game with
cardboard
it,
box that you put your Wii remote on.
I have a Labo. I have a couple of Labos.
I know. I want to get the goggles one at least.
Yeah, it was
I just want to VR around Hyrule for a bit.
it's pretty cool. Like for real. I don't think I did the Mario one, but I still have it. It's just on a shelf here. But
What's the Matsumoto arcade scene? You used to live next to one in Nagano City.
Yeah, so there's one at Eon Mall, but it's very much like a claw machine
Yeah, yeah,
arcade
that's what we
place.
got here. That's because I was thinking, what's
There's
the
a
last
real nice
arcade I've been
one
in?
up in like the hills of Ueda that I found.
Oh,
Uh,
right, I know what you're talking
Up near the
about.
McDonald's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah. I know
how
what
I
you're talking
found it, because I
about.
fancied a McDonald's. Yep, there goes my mic.
man, they unfortunately round
Matsumoto, I
one.
think, has a cool one, but it's like the other side of the tracks where I would never go.
The wrong side of the tracks. Yeah, you
Mm,
don't want to go to that arcade.
There's like all the claw machines have like bugs in them and stuff.
No, I just
Yeah.
live on this side of the tracks.
Ah,
The
yeah.
You gotta
The
find
claw
the.
machines unfortunately got a lot less,
claw
or a lot.
machines are always dirtier on the other side of the tracks. That's what they
Yeah,
say.
that is. Now the round one claw
There's a
machines,
reason people always say that.
I could walk in there and win a couple of things. And recently, I think maybe 6 months ago, I was like, I'm gonna win something for my friend for her birthday, and after dumping like $30, I started just having like shaking and be like, I can't, I gotta stop. No,
Well, I remember
what's
my friend
happening?
Matty telling me how good he is at claw machines. And then he finally showed me his technique, and it's just pump money into them until he gets the prize.
That
Well,
happened.
Like he is
there's
pretty
always
good at them, but it's still a lot of he
yeah.
just spent enough money to win it.
A few
Well,
months ago, my daughter saw a movie, the Ninja Kids movie in the theater. So she wanted to buy a plush Ninja Kids on the way out. And the only way you could get it was claw machine. They didn't have it in the little theater store. They didn't have it in the stores in the mall. And both of us suck at claw machines, so she didn't get one.
I see.
oh no,
Well,
yeah,
I think we stopped. I think she tried like 3 times and I tried like two, and then we gave up. So
Yeah,
I did not
my
get.
rule is usually like I'll chance it, but I'm not going to commit to winning anything.
Yeah.
But wait, there are two up here. There are a couple of soft toy JoJos, and two of those me and Murthy did spend like 3,000 yen winning.
Mm.
But
But that's
she knows that they will cost about 5,000 yen once they're on the secondary market. So
there we go.
yeah,
Yeah, not the
yeah.
case with these.
Well,
But I was like, man, I just want to buy one. I don't want to play this game a chance. I just want the plush. That's all.
well, the secret of claw machines is that there's only tension on the claw. It's a thing that they can set where
yeah,
it's like
it's
every
literally
second, every
it's
third.
a slot machine, and you just have to hope you
So,
get the one where it grabs.
well, you
Or
can
you're
hope,
good enough
or
at hooking the loop of the label or something.
no, you just stand kind of off to the side and watch like if somebody else goes and plays a claw machine and loses and then walks away, go to that
You've
one.
got a good chance on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Of course, now
that is
you're
also
committing
the
a lot
same
of
thing you do
time.
at slot machines, right?
Yeah, I don't mess with slot machines. I'm
Oh
afraid
no,
of
God,
gambling.
I would never do a slot machine, but
Yeah.
I've
I mean,
heard from
yeah,
older boys that is the that's the technique on a slot machine too.
I'm not afraid. I mean, whatever. I'm not going to shame anybody
You
for
will
gambling.
be.
I am afraid of my
I'm
own
not. I'm
propensity.
not going to shame anyone for gambling because they have an addiction and it's a disease.
Yeah,
But
that's a
I'm
good
going to
point.
call it what it is.
Yeah, it's
But
like, I
you
mean,
have a gambling problem.
dude, I've been
I don't
late
have a
to
gambling
work for
problem. I'm
playing
great at it.
Tetris. It's a solution. So, yeah, anyway, old boy.
Yeah, that was not even remotely related to the film tangent we just went on.
Yeah, there wasn't even
We
an
were just talking
arcade in
about
this, was
Korea
there?
or Japan, and then that became arcade machines.
I was sitting there thinking it's not the worst way to tangent out. I mean, makes a little sense. I mean, there is that vibe. I mean, that's kind of watching this movie is kind of like going to the, really disgusting 18 and up arcade or something.
It's a city. It's like it's not like Memories of Murder was definitely kind of a rural vibe, and this is
Hmm.
definitely we live in a city. I can't go to an internet cafe without thinking of like the guy breaking the CD and stabbing the other guy at the computer to death.
I guess it wasn't that explicitly Korean a city, but maybe that's because it's based on a Japanese manga.
Yeah, I was thinking
So, like
like it's like
Chinese restaurants and
mhm.
just normal places that you would have in every city.
I was about to say it seemed
As,
like 10% removed from what I would expect from a 2003 movie set in Tokyo,
hmm
or
Yeah, for
Osaka. Yeah,
sure.
put this one in
as because
Osaka.
it could have been pretty much.
What
Yeah.
is the
Well,
location of the manga? Is
I
I
it?
meant
don't
to
know.
read that this week and I did not get around to it for various reasons.
I tend
Um,
not, I don't really show up to this podcast with all the trivia I do for other ones, so I
well,
didn't.
there isn't a lot of trivia in the IMDb page. Um, okay, 1996 through 1998.
It's not a super long manga then.
Shinichi Goto finds himself in a small room in a private jail. It
It
doesn't
doesn't
say where it's
say the
set.
location. Maybe it's just set in a city. So
Yeah, not every
sixth
story
grade
bothers, right?
classmate, they went younger.
Oh, dude, there's an Indian one. There's an Indian
Oh, I bet
Old
that
Boy
one's
remake.
sick.
Zinda.
Ooh.
Wild. So that is 116 minutes. Wow, that's not very long. That's shorter than this one.
Yeah, that's short for an Indian film. It's only about 5 minutes shorter than this one, and they probably don't spend as long on the credits.
Yeah, credits can
Well,
sometimes account for some of that.
I'll tell you a couple of things they might have left out from this.
Okay, sure, if you feel like it.
I mean, you can guess, right? What they probably left out of this?
I didn't even try to guess.
Well, the sex,
Ah,
Okay.
for one.
Which,
Probably the
are you talking about the
tongue.
Indian one?
Yeah.
Okay, they left out the
but yeah,
sex.
on-screen sex, yeah.
Right.
It was directed by Sanjay Gupta. Isn't that like the name of a
That's a
doctor?
different that's what I saw and that's what I was saying. I was like, that's not right. I mean like me
Different
knowing the
guy.
name. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yes, I
different
had the
guy.
same thought which I did not utter like
Oh,
you did.
you know what? There's another name. There's another director named Sanjay Gupta, even.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. That's a popular name then. Just like how if you type my name into Google, you tend to get results from a golfer now.
If
I
you type
love,
my name into Google, there's a guy who does graphic design who's obviously tried really hard to like get the SEO on our name. But I've been pumping so much shit onto the internet for the past 15 years that you still get a lot of me, and I bet he's really pissed about
that's great.
that.
The professional golf tournaments are getting in my way. They have actual media backing them.
Someone in the some character in the Indian Old Boy is named Wu Fong, and I feel like that might be a problematic character.
It might just be the guy who runs the Chinese restaurant or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's possible, but not a Chinese actor. Anyway,
You said two things?
two
Plus one
things,
things? You said there were two major differences.
Yeah,
two
you said
major
the
different.
sex
Oh,
and
I was like probably no sex and probably no like tooth or tongue removal in the just guessing.
I
In
don't
an
know.
Oh,
You
you're
could do.
guessing.
Indian film,
Okay.
in an Indian film, they don't generally do
I
that.
mean, we've seen like how many Indian films have you seen?
Like
Because most films
20.
don't generally do this. You could
Okay,
watch 20 American films without seeing anyone get their teeth pulled out.
that's fair.
Instead of cutting out his own tongue, there's a big musical number.
That would be cool
See,
Hmm.
if they danced
now Matt's
around with
being
a big
racist.
giant tongue. Similarities with Old Boy. Wait, what? Now
What?
it's like now I'm looking at even though Wikipedia listed this as a remake of Old Boy, Now the guy who directed this says it was not inspired by Oldboy. So this
Oh
is
yeah,
just
because it's probably
someone.
not a legally permitted remake.
Okay, yeah. So this is basically, I think someone has
This is,
linked these two
Magnificent
episodes.
Mockbuster.
Seven.
Mockbuster.
Like how people keep saying that what is it, the Raid and Dread are the same, even though they're completely different. They're
They
just
just
both
are
in a
fights
building.
in a building, yeah.
There's only one script
But
for
I think
fights in
The
a
Raid
building.
is the film I was hoping this would be, where the action is that brutal, but it's also mostly action.
yeah, it's not that. It's a
I mean,
lot.
I'm not saying
Well,
I didn't like this film. It's a really good thriller. It's just there was a part of me that's like, man, I could watch a lot more of this action directing.
yeah. I mean, I definitely love action films, and it's like the drawback of the movie being a bunch of things at once is that it's not a
Yeah, you
whole
don't
lot
get
of
to enjoy
anything.
any one of those things for long.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't really want to watch a movie that's like a lot of tongue removal. It's like that's not really my
I mean, yeah,
thing. It's
there's
just
Hostel and Saw for that, and there's a reason I don't watch those films.
yeah. It's this movie has like as much. I still looked away even
Well, I
now,
mean, the
but
camera pretty much looked away for
Yeah, I'll say they
peak, at
don't show you your
least.
tongue, and the,
yeah.
the teeth they mostly show just like being tossed to the side. They don't. I think you get one shot of
You get
each
them
growing
like
nose.
starting to move and some blood coming out. Yeah.
I mean, if you
It's,
have a phobia about that sort of thing, it probably will,
I
trigger you.
I mean, a
I'm
phobia is like an
close enough.
unreasonable fear, and I don't think having my teeth pulled out with pliers is an unreasonable thing to be scared of.
About watching it, I mean,
I
like
I
I
do
once.
I dislike watching things like that a lot, and I did look away pretty much every time. So yeah,
Like I
no,
had
but
a
I'm not
girlfriend once
offended.
which was freaked out by lots of tiny circles. So like barnacles would flip her out.
See,
Like
now that's a phobia, yeah.
the whole thing. What is that called? Like
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
no, that might be the 13 one. I know what
What's
you
the
mean, though,
Friday
yeah.
the 13th one? Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard it
Like
is a real
lotuses and stuff
thing.
like that.
Yeah.
where I thought I didn't. Well, I thought I didn't have that, and then I Googled it, and then the stuff I saw when I Googled it made me have it. Like it was because there's people have made things with holes that look so creepy that they would trigger just about anybody.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. I've seen stuff like that, but I
Oh
don't
yeah.
just like look at a fucking slice
yeah,
of lotus and I'm like, ugh.
yeah, I'm okay with a sponge or
Blah,
whatever, but
blah.
I can look at a beehive and not flip out.
yeah, but
Depends what the bees are up
so
to.
Well, yeah, it depends what the bee's up to. I'm just talking about the beehive itself.
Have you
the
guys been stung by
Beyonce
bees
fans
much?
twice, three times,
Oh, I got stung loads as a kid, but I think the British bees are not too.
or rather they're more polite.
They're not that big or painful compared to like
Uh,
definitely not compared to like the big Japanese hornets.
The last time I got stung was probably about 12 years ago, but it was summer and I got in the car and leaned back and the bee was in the back of the
Last
seat.
time I got stung was when I ordered my new car insurance. You know what I'm saying?
the last time I was stung, I was living in a poorly insulated house, and I literally got into bed, and a bee stung me.
Oh, I
was
had that
my
in a
bed.
shitty apartment once. It turned out there was a dead wasp nest
You should have said that
in our
story like Luke
loft.
said it.
And so
Yeah.
the dead wasps would fall down into the apartment. But like if you roll over one in your sleep, they can still sting you.
I was so pissed. I was just like, oh, why? So
The
anyway,
bees!
the Spike Lee Old Boy, the major difference, aside from, I don't know, none of it really works. It's not great. But the major difference is that Charlton Copley plays the villain
Mm.
of District 9 and a few other things. I love the guy. He's great. He got a lot of criticism for playing as a Scooby-Doo villain, and I am not kidding
That's
you.
not far off the villain in this, though, to be fair.
You see him in that movie and he's just like, yeah, like it's so I think I'm saying that as a positive. I think that that's the best thing about the movie is he's just like, well, we shall show him. And
Nice.
the incest angle from his end is that his dad was fucking everybody. And basically when whatever the Odesu, American Odesu, Joe Daisu, that's not what it's called.
I think
When
he is called Joe though,
when they leak the secret,
because I was looking at when I was seeing clips on YouTube, it's like Joe fights the ninja. Joe fights in
Yeah.
the hallway, so I think he is called Joe.
but what you get is when that secret gets out, the dad just goes home and shoots everyone in his family, and you see this from first person. Like you see like his dad coming home, and the first thing you see is Sharlto Copley says, "Oh, hello, Daddy," and he unzips his pants, and then his dad shoots him in the chest, and that alone is worth watching because that is just so goddamn funny to me personally. Anyway, then he shoots everybody else and himself. But Sharlto Copley lives, so
What
he
a
could
laugh riot.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah, it was kind of assumed he survived that gunshot from your description.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Just
Only a pussy
I
dies when they get shot.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, Odesu like fights with a knife in his back and is like fine,
Yeah,
but
like a real man.
yeah, but you
Get
know,
backstabbed and then dish it out. That's how you do it.
I want to believe that's the only reason Spike Lee made that was so he could do that sequence.
Probably.
It's so goddamn funny.
Well, sometimes people do end up making a movie because it's like, I can use this lens. Yay.
Well, he's about to do a remake of High and Low called, I think, Highest and Lowest with Denzel Washington. And we'll see how that turns out because, we've all seen that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cautiously optimistic. That would
Is
probably
it going to have the smoke
better.
come out, but it's going to be in 3D?
I think it's going to be about like rap, like music. So it's going to be like a music executive in that
musical.
position. So
it's going to be a musical.
Oh my God! Wow. I don't think so.
No, I don't think
it
it's
should
going to be a musical.
But still, I think that would
Is it gonna
translate to an
feature
American movie better.
A
What were you gonna
reference to all the various sex crimes and pedophilia? I was
Wow,
thinking
if they
Diddy,
just made
but
him Diddy, I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I mean that would make a compelling film. I think somebody's going to make that if they haven't already started.
P. Diddler.
P. Diddler, yeah, P. Diddley.
Is that the nickname now? Okay.
He
No,
probably is in the UK. I keep blowing Mercy's mind by telling her about the stupid nicknames people had in the British press. Like Wacko Jacko is what we called
Oh, we
the
definitely
newspapers
heard that.
were
we
always called
actually
Michael
got
Jackson.
that
Yeah.
made it
nice.
over here. Yeah,
I remember that being in the
I'm
Bloom
sure
County
it
comic
originated
strip.
in the UK though.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
Hit us with a few more. What else? What does she crack on him?
Now that I can't, now that I just realized it's just that one
You're
that was
two on the
brought up.
spot. Okay.
Yeah, there are definitely were more, but like Posh and Bex and stuff like that. But
Mm.
Do they have one for Princess Di?
yeah, well, yeah, Princess Di.
Oh.
Or the
I guess
People's
that is an
Princess,
acronym.
that's what we called her.
Ah.
Like The Rock is the People's Champ.
Oh yeah, that time that she did the people's elbow.
Yeah, on Charles. It was great.
Yep.
That's why his fingers are like that, because he got squeezed from the middle. And all his innards went
Yep.
out to the limbs.
Yep. Oh boy. You're about the John Cena heel turn?
Hell yeah.
Anyway, I've just dated this podcast.
Oh, okay. What's the John Cena heel turn?
But John Cena's
He's-
gone heel.
He's a heel now.
Oh, he's a heel now. Oh, you okay?
In the actual wrestling, yeah. No,
Yeah,
well,
see,
because
I'm-
I saw like, oh no, Cena's evil now, and I was like, my first thought wasn't, oh, there was a wrestling show tonight. My first thought was like, oh no, allegations have come out.
That's what I was sitting here thinking. He's a real heel now.
I think he straight up said he was retiring soon. So
Yeah,
I
he said
think
this
it's
is like
just
his last year, so he wants to
just
do
gonna
one
be
before he
like-
leaves, which is fair enough.
Of
Well,
course.
he's well on the way to taking the Hulk Hogan route, then, isn't he? Give it 2 more years.
I hope not. I hope he's better than that, for fuck's sake.
No,
God.
the only form of villainy Cena has is cowardice.
Yeah.
Like how he
Exactly.
apologized to China when he called Taiwan a country.
He'll fight you for that, or not.
No, he won't. He's a pussy.
I mean, he wants money.
He'll fight you for money.
Probably,
He'll fight
yeah.
you for money. Yeah, I'm
Because
sure
they
he
call
Fight
that
me for some
muggism.
Bing Chiling.
I'm sure he said something really nice to Saudi Arabia too at some point.
Mm.
But,
How nice.
How nice.
Thank you,
But,
Saudi
man.
Arabia. It's great that our female wrestlers can't perform in these shows.
Yeah, well, they couldn't drive if they were there anyway, so or something. Who knows? Who knows how bad that is?
Hmm.
I don't even want to think about it. But
How about Oldboy? Is it a film?
Saudi
Is it
Arabian
filthy?
Oldboy.
It's a
Saudi
filthy
Arabia.
film, but it's an absolute film. It's clearly a
Filthy
hugely
film.
influential film.
Yeah, it definitely has some like you don't watch this without being ready for some filthy stuff.
It's
That's
funny because I
not
keep
good for
complaining
family
about.
viewing.
I didn't put it
That probably
together.
wouldn't stop you.
I didn't put it together until now, but it's like I keep complaining about 2000s movies, and this is like to me just everything kind of at the same and you know, the Fog remake is nothing. So there you go.
Mm.
I don't,
It's just
I don't know what to
fog.
say. This and a number of its like contemporary Korean films were like so like made me so happy back in the day that it's just like American stuff just couldn't keep up with it.
Although it's
And
2003, and I feel like the American stuff really got dreary crap like maybe 2, 3, 4 years later.
I mean, it's right after 9/11, and that's sort of if that's not the inciting incident for a bunch of crappy movies, then it's definitely partly to blame for
9/11
it.
on screen in this film.
Yep,
And
true.
Princess Diana, going back
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, well, you know that they
Two
do.
horrible crimes orchestrated by the state.
It's part of why I compare this to Fight Club is because remember, like Matt, you and I talked about this a lot back in the day because you convinced me to see Fight Club. You were like, you have to see Fight Club, and it does a lot of the same kind of the way that David Fincher said
If
that.
Matt was trying to date you, that would be considered a red flag.
Well, actually, I did like take a girl I was dating to Fight Club, and I think it kind of was a red flag for her.
Well,
But
it's a running
um,
joke, at least between me and Matt, that I've forced multiple girlfriends to watch Schindler's List with me.
yeah,
Just
I
because they're like, I haven't seen Schindler's List. I'm like, you haven't seen Schindler's List?
the shameful one was having somebody I was dating see Scott Pilgrim versus the World because I was like, it's like
I
us. I
like
didn't say
games.
it's like us, but I was like 35, and she
Yeah, okay,
was
yeah,
like,
that's pretty cringe, bro.
she was like, she's like 32, and I was like 35. So like, yeah, it was, more of
Yeah,
an
I did that, but I
honorary.
was like 22, so
Yeah. Well, I was like desperately clinging to some kind of meaning, and also desperately clinging to a relationship with
your
somebody who
youth. Oh,
wasn't
okay.
wasn't that it. No, she wasn't that into me because I was too hungry, man. Sometimes you're just too hungry,
Hmm.
and also don't take somebody to see that movie. um, but no, I was saying about Fight Club is that Fight Club has that thing where it's like trying to download the movie into your head, where it's like this kind of does a lot of the same thing, where there are a lot of special effects where you see things like the giant ant on the subway that's just there to
Yeah. Those sort of modern editing things were pretty cool, and
do
again,
just
probably
like
pretty influential.
yeah, like just imagine just special effects just to show inside of people's heads, which kind of a new thing, I guess, at the time. But yeah, but I also like this better than Fight Club. But Fight Club, well, we'll see in a long time from now how that's aged, but I feel kind of like I've been avoiding watching that for a while at this point.
My Blu-ray that started skipping 10 years ago, so I haven't watched it since then.
Yeah, I made everybody watch that after Matt made me watch it. I think I saw that in the theater like 8 times, which is
Oh, okay. I
crazy.
didn't like it that much.
No, yeah, you like passed it to me, and I was like, "Ah,
I got the virus. I'm on
I got the
fire.
virus." I made a few people watch this back in the day too.
Well, here's someone that won't make you watch it. It's a 1-star review. Uh,
Go for it. I
don't,
have one set aside too.
is
Go
it Don't
ahead.
Waste Your Time?
I don't know. It's gonna take me a minute to pull it up.
This movie was one of the longest movie watching experiences of my life. While I like how the director, Chan Woon Park, handled the revenge, the movie as a whole is terrible. Oldboy is billed at 1 hour and 55 minutes long, but it feels like it takes at least 3.5 hours to tell the story. I will say that the English dubbing was done very well and the movie was easily understandable, not viewed in Korean then. Okay. Uh, Mark, didn't you say that the dubbing was terrible on this?
Yes, the original dub was awful. It
Okay.
was like not like worse than it was like worse than a dub you would get in the 70s or 80s, but not remotely funny.
Okay, well, it takes out this one, which is also if you have an aversion to annoying voices, then avoid hearing Haejong Kang. She plays Midu speak, which I guess we hear a different voice. If you are looking for a movie to kill time and make you feel morally superior to others, then watch away. If you don't want to watch a movie filled with incest, bad dialogue, unnecessary fight scenes, gross torture scenes and confusing flashbacks, then this is not the movie for you. I do like the next review. I'm not going to read all of it, but just 1 star for the octopus. So they gave a star for the octopus, but they
Oh
have to give a
yeah,
star. You can't give a 0.
it sucks that this is the only movie we're probably gonna watch that would be on doestheoctopusdie.com because they killed like eight of them. I think they did that scene. They shot that scene like 8 times, and since he's a Buddhist and doesn't, I don't think he eats meat ever, so he had to bless the octopus every time they shot the scene.
Hmm. What's that
Um,
octopus? So PETA did not support the
well,
making of this movie.
no, I don't think you could. I'm amazed they even were able to make this anywhere. But um, anyway, here's the one I got. Most overrated movie ever made. This is from 2005. This has to be the worst high budget movie ever made. I almost gave it away for free after I saw it. First off, the back of the movie says brutal scenes of torture, so I couldn't wait to see it. Finally, the main character was about to pluck this guy's teeth out with his hammer, then the camera turns away. Every scene of violence in this movie doesn't show. And if you're expecting a good story, then you might stay interested for about 28 minutes, start wondering why you should care anymore. It seems like the director made up the story as they were making the movie because it had the stupidest plot twist you could think of. Oldboy is supposed to be a serious movie and made you care for the characters, but they just made me laugh through the whole movie. This is just a ripoff of any Quentin Tarantino movie. Don't
Quintal.
listen to the hype on all those other movie sites. This movie goes right with the other garbage Hollywood puts out these. The
Hollywood?
covers say it's from Tartan Asia Extreme and there's nothing even close to extreme about it. Old Boy sucks. 859 out of 1566 people found that helpful.
That's half the people.
I'm
The wor-
surprised how many people found that helpful. Like that, the whole reason I read that was I thought it was funny. The guy's like, it's not violent enough. What do you call this extreme?
More gore. Well, they once saw, right? This is the audience for Hostel and Saw.
Yeah, I guess that's right. That's so far from my like point of view that I just can't even imagine not laughing at that.
Yeah, I mean, that's I'm not a deep horror viewer, and I've never really entered that realm myself. So, except for our viewing of Human Centipede Part 2 and eventually Part 3, I guess.
At least with the Saw movies, I can understand appreciating them for like the wacky, ironic traps, right?
Yeah,
But
and
just purely, gore and horrible violence.
I I think
Not for
I've
me,
only seen it.
thanks.
Yeah, I've only seen a couple of the Saw movies, and the thing that mainly impressed me was just the how claustrophobic and tight, and obviously I think the budget for the first Saw was like $1 million, so
Hmm.
I'm like that impresses me, but I didn't like really enjoy myself while I was watching them at all. It's just and it was one of those things where I had to get a little bit older, where I was like, actually, I can just admit that I didn't like watching any of the Saw movies.
No, I need a big weird hook like Final Destination has all the Rube Goldberg machines, and Nightmare on Elm Street has,
Yeah.
Freddy and surreal kills. So,
Well, yeah, it's like the stuff I like about this movie is a lot like what I like about Freddy movies, where it's just you're watching a crazy person be crazy. And Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness are like a lot of people being crazy. But
yeah, but even Army of Darkness, they basically have to stick him in a shed and have him act with himself for 20 minutes as well.
well, yeah, that's true, but it still counts. Multiple Bruce Campbells.
Right.
That's sort of what that movie's just about that.
He's got to deal with himself.
But yeah, I love this movie, and I think if you made it this far and you took the spoilers in and you're still interested in watching it, that you should watch it because it's funny and it's fucked up and it's I don't know, it's fun. I would watch if somebody was like, "Hey, let's watch this," like next week, I'd just watch it, even though I don't watch anything multiple times for the most part.
Or do you?
Well,
You did it for
it's
the
been
most
a
part,
while
I
for
guess.
this one, so yeah, it's been a while for this one, but I mean, I do want to do a rewatch of the other two Vengeance movies, and there's one of his movies that I've never seen that I've like had for a long time, and it's called I'm a Cyborg, but that's okay, and it's just
Oh,
like
I've heard of that one.
yeah, it's just like people in love in a mental institution.
And one of them's a cyborg.
One of them thinks they're a cyborg.
Yeah, I just assumed that was where you're going with that.
But what
Yes,
if the twist is they are?
Ooh,
I mean I hope
I
so,
hope, yeah.
but Park Chan Wook has he has a recent film that came out, which was called what's going? Oh man, I'm in producer. That's stupid IMDb. I hate you.
You're in
Thanks
producer.
for thanks for making this podcast possible, but also I hate you. Decision to Leave.
No, I don't thank them for this. You know, I resent this concept.
Yeah, we're doing all the work. They just have idiots write things that we read.
The
Decision
trivia
to
is all
Leave.
100% true.
I have not seen Decision to Leave. The Handmaiden from 2016 is his second most highly rated film, and I also recommend that one. Is also very good. Kind of ridiculously over the top lesbian scenes in it. So if that
Oh yeah.
makes you excited, then yeah, definitely, definitely recommend that one too.
That makes me excited
And
because I'm an ally, not because I'm a pervert.
well, it's a realistic depiction. It's a realistic depiction of two women who are fed up with the bullshit they're having to deal with, and they basically, it's kind of like Bound, like they're just like getting out of there, but it's more
Mm.
epic than that. Anyway, I highly recommend that. And if you like vampire movies, Thirst is a great vampire movie about that. The allegory for that is just a relationship that's toxic.
Mm.
And it's like two vampires just being
So basically,
shitheads.
like Twilight.
Um, I haven't seen Twilight, but probably. I'm pretty sure. I would it would be a good double feature with Only Lovers Left Alive. If you guys have seen that. Jim Jarmusch movie. So
No,
basically just vampires hanging out, playing guitar,
Mm.
being shitheads.
No, we're still staring blankly at you, but that's fine. But
It's
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 okay.
good. It's worth your time.
I
If you feel like
believe you.
doing a romantic vampire fucked up double feature, Thirst and Only Lovers Left Alive. Great choice.
There
And
we go. Mark recommendation.
you know, his American language movie Stoker, which is pretty underrated here. That's good too. It's got Nicole Kidman being real creepy.
Yeah, I've heard that one being bandied about a bit for sure. I mean,
Okay, well, I have to go catch a train, so bye.
later's.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, this is a director where it's like I should know him and I don't. So he's
Well,
making faces. He made a face. He's gone.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this is like as like messed up as he gets. So like if this is your entry point and you're looking for something that's like a little bit more less tooth pulley,
So that
then you
one
know
star
you've got a
review will
lot of
hate
stuff.
those even more because they have
Yeah,
less score.
they probably wouldn't even bother with
Right.
those. Yeah, but yeah, man, Lady Vengeance, like Lady Vengeance, right after this is a great watch because it's also great and it's wacky and fun and I'm just gonna gush endlessly if you don't stop me
Okay.
from
Well, I guess
doing
we'll
this.
put Oldboy back into its hotel room for now then.
Yep. And if you want to be in a hotel
And
alone,
listen to us for 15 years.
you can go to podcastiopodcastius.org. Also rate and review this podcast because please rate and review this podcast. Reviews mean a lot to algorithms and stuff. All those
Feel the
horrible things
rhythm.
that we have to deal with. And also follow us on Blue Sky at Podcast and check out other podcasts such as Luclo's Pokemon Space. Or, I always call it that. Podcast 1999, Time Enough Podcast, Monster Mash, Game Show, Occult Disney. And
Then listen to some space, man. Just space. The sounds.
yeah, we're
Like
doing Planet of the Apes. This is just like a Planet of the Apes movie.
like like that scene where Charlton Heston gets his teeth pulled out.
I mean, you
Could have
know,
happened. Well,
Planet of the
two
Apes
extra scenes.
isn't Planet of the Apes sort of about you just are stuck somewhere and Dr. Zaius is like tricking you into hanging out with a lady?
I love you, Dr. Zaius.
I, I'm sorry, I kind of like started disintegrating there.
Well, I can cut on I love you, Dr. Zaius, so it's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll hit the recording button. Bye-bye to any Patreon folks listening.
Bye.